Hey everybody, Halloween Matt here, and today I am back with my first, what I would consider a non-skit, first commentary video for the Halloween 2025 season. Now in this video, I'll be talking about the layout for both the front yard and the backyard, which will be the haunted house this year. Now, I'm going to start off here at the front yard. In this front yard, similar to last year, I'm going to have 5 animatronics. Those 5 animatronics being the skeleton holding lantern. I'm pretty sure it's called like Grim Reaper, something Grim Road, but I just always call it skeleton holding lantern. It's actually my profile picture. I'm sure some of you know which one I'm talking about, but I'm sure some of you don't. But I'm also going to have Lucky Bottoms, Grave Watcher, Evelyn Leach, and Ophelia. Don't know exactly where they'll be out here in the front yard. All I know is that they'll be out here in the front yard. I'm also going to have like tombstones, make this kind of look like a cemetery type thing. So that'll be for the front yard. Now moving over here to the driveway, which we did just recently move the cars out of, so you can get a better picture of what it'll look like on Halloween without the props, just without the props here, but it'll be opened like this on Halloween night. So first up here, we're gonna have, I plan to make a stand. I don't know if I'll get to that or not. I might want to focus more on the backyard, but if I get to it, I'm planning on making a stand for the fortune teller globe lady that I have. Once again, sorry about that. I don't know her official name. A lot of these animatronics, when I got them, they were from somebody else, so and they didn't come with their original boxes, so I don't know her official name either, but she'll be somewhere right there. Now up here by the garage, we're gonna have Uncle Charlie. Similar to last year, I believe he was here last year as well, but I've had him out here for both St. Patrick's Day and 4th of July. So I figured, why have him out here for all these holidays if I'm not going to have him out here for Halloween? I was debating between him and Wacky, but I ultimately decided on him because of that factor. So, now, normally this is the part where before I move to the backyard, I would talk about another room, which you guys probably remember from last year. And that room is the inside room. I'm actually going to say that this year I'm actually removing that room. But instead of just not having a replacement for it, I actually thought of the perfect replacement. If you remember last year, I made a sign advertising the haunted house. We put it out on Halloween, and I would say that could have been one of the main reasons we got so many people last year. But this year, I plan to bring that sign back, but to have an animatronic to go along with it every year. So it'll be a different animatronic every year. And I'm going to put the sign right here by the street light, and with the sign, I'm going to have popping out from behind the street light the Hauntress. I plan before Halloween to have her on proper mode, but on Halloween, I'm probably going to switch her to Sensor. But we'll just have to wait and see. That's still like about a month and a half away before I have to figure all that out, like exactly what modes I want the animatronics on, especially these in the front and backyard. But now I'm gonna move here to the backyard. Let's see if we can get back here quickly. I'm recording this on a different device, so I can't pause the recording. Sorry about that, guys. But back here, once again, I might have a stand for this because it is another kind of tabletop, but we'll see. Is over here kind of what I would consider the queue line. It really isn't a queue line, but it's more just a walkway. But just in case this year we get so many people that it's almost like, yeah, we have to have a little bit of a queue here. Just to entertain people, I guess, I'm going to have Jammering Jack. If you know, he has 70 minutes of just looping voice lines, so he will, or she, since, it does kind of switch, but, I'm going to have that, both the funny voice, the traditional voice, and the scary witch type voice here talking pretty much all night for the 5 hours. I may decide to turn it off in the middle just so the projector doesn't get worn or whatever. I do think it says like turn it off, like give it a break every maybe like 2-3 hours. So I'll just have to wait and see for that. But that'll be there if we do get a little bit of a line just to keep people entertained. Now in here, I probably should have mentioned this at the very beginning of the video, but this year's theme is actually a farm theme this year. If you couldn't tell by the trailer, which you should go and check out. Once again, because I'm recording this on another device, I don't know if what I'll be able to do with the description, but if I can't get it to link in the description, then you should go check it out. It's Halloween Mad 85, just like my YouTube. But here, I'm gonna have the Flashing Eye Skeleton. I don't think you guys really know about that. Really, the only time I've showed it was very briefly in the collection video, which you should also go check out in case I can't link it in the description. But he's flashing eyes, kind of just Sunstar type skeleton. Not really anything like too strong, but I feel like that works. I don't think people really care. And I think at the end of the day, it might scare a person or two, because it is kind of a creepy design. But that'll be here, and this will be the photo type section. So, you know when you go to farms and they have photo sections, where you can like put your head, and it's like kind of a funny person, and you just put your head in like the head slot. That's kind of what I'm imagining for this. So I might make some cardboard cutouts with that type of stuff here, and almost maybe even make it like the Scarecrow was one of them, but instead of a face, somebody put their skull in there, like a dead person. So, and now over here, I'm gonna have the cornfield section. If you remember, once again, go check out my Instagram for my old house tours, where at my old house we would have corn stalks. We didn't do those last year because we didn't feel a need to, because the front yard and the backyard, none of that was really farm themed. But this year we might bring that back, because this is actually a farm theme, and especially here because this is the cornfield section. So for this cornfield, I plan to have 2 animatronics and 1 static prop. If you remember, I'm gonna get to the static prop first. If you remember Wall Guy, or that's what I called him, but he's a guy I made when I was like 8 years old. And I plan to just dress him up as a Scarecrow this year, just as a static prop to add to this area. I also plan to have the jumping spider, kind of just looking like a spider jumping out of the cornfields. This tree probably won't be here. If you can probably see, I still haven't taken off its Christmas lights, and it's August. At the time of recording, it's August 2nd. I'm planning on uploading this video today, but we'll just have to wait and see. But that tree, it might be here, it might not. Really all depends. I might also take the Christmas lights off. But those were a hassle to get on, so I'm not sure. I might just leave the Christmas lights on, at least until, this year's Christmas is over. But, I'm not sure if that'll be here or not. But over here, I plan to also have Night Stalker, or over here, maybe, I don't know exactly where, but just somewhere on this side, if you can get it. But I don't know exactly where on this side, but somewhere on this side of the cornfield will be Night Stalker. And he'll just be laughing, probably have him on sensor, yeah. Then over here, if you remember, last year, this was the bar/dining room area. And I wanted to say that, yeah, I'm going to bring, this will both be used as one single room again. If you notice, we also got lights on there. We did that at the beginning of the summer. But it'll be changed into something different. This, I plan to have to be the greenhouse room, where there will be just a bunch of overgrown plants and like vegetables and just stuff that was grown for way too long and is now attacking the people who grow it. I also plan to have Bloodthirsty Betty looking like that she tried to eat some of the plants. But, the plants were poisonous, so she got poisoned, and her head, lifts up and stuff. And then over here, I also plan to have Sitting Scare Witch, almost looking like a zombie that was wearing a witch costume. I'll get to this in a separate video, but there is a whole lore to go with the haunted house this year, which you could probably tell a little bit from the trailer. But she's gonna look like a zombie witch that was chained, that once again, she ate some of the vegetables and it turned her skin green and stuff. And she'll be here popping up. I'll probably have her on prop remote because I might not have the candy bowl with her this year. So that way, if you don't know already, the Sing Scare props, they can work with Try Me, and they can actually, for those of you who might not be a haunter and who are just watching this video, if you do know about the Sitting Scare props, or even better if you do own one, they can actually work without, at least the Sitting Scare Witch can actually work without the candy bowl. So I might just have her on like proper mode or something. Then over here, a lot of people like to joke that we're gonna have people walking in the pool, and who knows, maybe we will have that, but probably not this year. I don't know, I don't think people will really appreciate getting all their Halloween costumes wet and stuff, but over here, we're gonna have, this will be the barn section. This entire, pool deck will be decorated as the barn section this year. So, and I plan to have quite a few animatronics in here. Starting off, I'm probably gonna have him, spider web, I'll have to clean that off later. Can't really tell on the camera. But over here, I plan to have Lurching Zombie, once again another zombie. You'll notice a theme with zombies this year, and that mostly goes along with the lore of this haunted house this year. But here we have, I'm going to have Lurching Zombie here. Now, something I want to note is that his lunging and eyes are both kind of non-functional. I might be able to get his lunging to start working again. His lunging, as of right now, I think is kind of off and on, but for whatever reason, his eyes stopped working. I think we did check, especially right before the trailer video, and all the wires were connected. Sorry about that. So it could have just been he's an old prop, so his eyes just burn out, but we'll see. But yeah, Lurching Zombie will be over there. Then actually, moving back over here still, I plan to have, because this has a little more room, I plan to have Lost Her Way and Nightcrawler. The whole story with Lost Her Way, if you don't know why she will be here, is that she was somebody who went out to feed Nightcrawler one day when he was still a, don't even know what animal. I'll work on that. I'll work on figuring out. Actually, let me know in the comments, what animal do you think Nightcrawler could have been before he turned into his Nightcrawler self that we know today? Let me know about that. What animal do you think would best fit Nightcrawler if he was a normal animal? But I'm gonna have Lost Her Way and Nightcrawler here. Then, down here a little bit more, I plan to have Bag O' Bones. Just something popping out. Now, something I also want to note is Bag O' Bones. We bought him on sale. He was actually for sale because his audio was broken. He was only like $80 because his audio now was broken. I actually kind of got that to work. I might actually also make a separate video explaining that, but he'll be here. I might have a few, more corn stalks over here, not 100% sure, and over here. But, and also, not really sure. It really all depends on the landscapers that come to our house's schedule. But I'm not sure if these plants will be here by Halloween. I think that they will, but I'm not 100% sure. It really all depends on if they decide to cut them down or not. But over here, I plan to have Man's Possessed Friend. Just, as a dog, I'm pretty sure a lot of farmers have dogs and stuff. A lot of people who have bigger farms and stuff, or even just a smaller farm. Anybody can have a, why am I talking about farmers as if they're like some kind of special breed that have dogs. It's just a dog that lives on a farm. So that'll be Man's Possessed Friend. Man's Possessed Friend is actually a favorite at our new house, at least. At our old house, it was Hugs. But some of you may know that Hugs kind of broke. Once again, might make a story time on that, who knows, but this year at this house, Bubba, which the kids call him, has been a fan favorite, so yeah, so I think the kids will be very excited to see him back this year. Now, over here, if you remember last year's layout video, I went down here and around. Well, because the tarps that we set up were just kept going down by the wind. Like, the smallest gust of wind was bringing the tarps down, it felt like. And me and my dad were talking about it for a while, and I think we came to the final decision that it was the actual layout. We couldn't get it tied up correctly. So instead, we just decided to make this a straight hallway. But I'm going to split this straight hallway from here to about where those bricks start over there. I'm going to separate it into 2 sections. Now, here's where the lore of the haunted house will really come into effect. Because here I plan to have... Oops, sorry about that. Hold on. But here I plan to have the pumpkin patch section. Yeah, I might switch it around with this other one. I'm not 100% sure yet. Just so it's kind of lore and I can tell the story a little bit better, because once again I will be touring people through this haunted house myself, similar to what I did last year. But I plan to have 3 animatronics, or not 3 more animatronics for this haunted house this year, but only 1 animatronic and 1 or 2 static props. You'll see what I mean in a second. But over here I plan to have the animatronic being Miserable Marie in this pumpkin patch section. Once again, another zombie. Stay tuned for maybe a lore video coming out soon. Or you might just be able to get the lore kind of through pieces before the movie comes, or before my short film comes out about it, which will come out later in October. But the only... What the heck is going on there? The only static prop I know about that'll be here is Lurching Zombie. Or not Lurching... God, sorry. It's still very early in the morning and I'm tired. But over here I plan to have the Posable Skeleton. That's right. You may have saw him from the trailer, which came out at the time of recording this yesterday. And he was holding a video camera. He wasn't really holding it. I might have him hold it for the haunted house. Not 100% sure. I did try and do that for the video, but it always ended up falling right out of his hands, or the skeleton would fall and the video camera would go like flying, and yeah, it just overall wasn't really working out. But I'll see if I can get him to hold it correctly for the haunted house. But that is because this kind of farm is abandoned. I'll give you kind of a brief lore right now. This farm is abandoned, and these zombies and stuff kind of became zombies from a hayride crash back in the 90s. So yeah, and I'm thinking about it. Really all depends if I have the room, a mannequin that I'll explain in a separate video. I actually do plan on having a store, or like an attic / just storage in general video coming out soon, where I might explain where I got the mannequin from. But here we'll have the Posable Skeleton, maybe the mannequin. Once again, really all just depends on if we have the room. Now, over here, this is the second to last room in the haunted house. It's going to be the hayride crash section. Now, the person who was driving the hayride when it crashed is Grim. Now, some of you may know on my Instagram that Grim's speaker did blow out, and that's what I thought it would be. I just thought he would be here without audio. But when we were plugging him in for the trailer video, he did actually, his audio did seem to work. I thought his audio blew out. Now, let me know in the comments, once again, if audio for animatronics, if like their speakers can blow out and then come back, because that's kind of my thought. It's like, how is his audio back? Like, I was just standing there stunned, very happy, like for a little while, just with my mouth hanging open, that his audio was back. So, really the only way I could see it is that his audio temporarily blew out, because over there in the grill area, over there, is I had him plugged into there. Now that is kind of a little separate building. I'm not really sure how much power is getting in there, So maybe when I plugged them in, it wasn't supplying as much power to Grim, meaning that he started to glitch and his audio blew out. Maybe that could be it, is the power that was going to him just wasn't enough, which causes, even with the right adapter, still the power just wasn't enough and it caused his audio to blow out. But then eventually we plugged him into the right outlet and his audio came back and it was normal. Let me know about that. Let me know, because I'm no electrician, so I don't really know about that kind of stuff. I do know that we did have him on the right adapter, but let me know if you guys know. And also, if you do have any animatronics with their audios blown out, maybe just try and plug them into some different outlets, just to see. I'm not saying it'll work. Maybe I just got lucky in this case, but just try. But with that out of the way, Grim will be here, standing on a hayride. You also probably saw this in the video, but I'm gonna have a flashing ghost and even a flashing skull. I haven't shown that yet, but I also got that. Just to look like Halloween decorations that were on the hayride when it crashed, that because it crashed they're now flashing. I also maybe plan to have a bunch of strobe lights on very slow mode. I'll try and sync them up and stuff so it looks like hazard lights, but we'll see. Maybe even the hazard lights would be glitching, I don't know. But that'll be it for that room. Now moving on to this last room. I'm sorry about all the bugs. I don't know what's going on with that. But in this last room, this will be the butcher shop room. And in this Butcher Rob, what? Who's Butcher Rob? In this butcher shop room, I should say, I'm just gonna have a bunch of maybe like the hanging zombies that I have and stuff. And over here, I also plan to have Buzzsaw the butcher. He will be the one that looks like he's the one who took apart all of these zombies, I'll say, or took apart all these people, I'll say, and yeah. And I also plan to have a big strobe light in this room, make it look very, very much crazy, and I want that to be kind of the most climactic in this room. Now, that's actually going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment what animatronic or room you're most excited to see that you come back here. My house is actually haunted, I'm telling you. But, yeah, let me know what room or animatronic specifically you're most excited to see, rather it be in the haunted house or even in the front yard this year. Let me know any suggestions in the comments below on if you have any ideas for what I could do for this haunted house, if you have any feedback on the animatronics, or even if maybe I'm thinking about doing something for the haunted house that maybe you don't think is a great idea because of this, or even because it isn't, you don't think it's really possible. So, but let me know about all that. I may have another animatronic or even static prop down here, I'm not sure. Last year, my dad actually put a bat here. I actually didn't do that, it was my dad, but, so big thanks to him for adding a little more scenery to the haunted house last year. But that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, that's about it for this video. Once again, comment any suggestions or feedback you have for the haunted house, or what animatronic or animatronics you're most excited to see, rather it be in the haunted house or the front yard this year. Anyways, that's about it. Bye, guys.